This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
And now back to the continuation of the story from a few minutes ago. You're on the Best of the Morning X with Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. 99X.
Who's next?
How about Leon?
Leon.
Yes, sir.
Lives good time.
What?
Oh, that's
Okay.
Levon.
Yeah, Levon.
Jimmy?
Not Leon.
Hey, Leon, what's your story? Make us say, wow.
Leon.
Okay, so my friends and I went for a weekend in Tunica, Mississippi for a little gambling.
That's where I always want to go.
Tunica, Mississippi.
Great. And we were staying at the Grand, and nothing was happening, so we decided to go over to the Gold Stripe, which is a bigger casino, really nice. And a friend of mine actually was playing $25 slots and ended up winning $8,000. Well, after that, they went to pay out, and they comped us a room there.
Of course.
So we got top floor suite. And so we were all excited. We went up, and it's like, I don't know, like 700 square feet, right? It's huge. It's beautiful. So we had the door propped up, and we're bringing our stuff in.
Isn't the whole town of Tunica, Mississippi only 700 square feet?
Almost. No, it's just our room.
Okay.
It was incredible. It was very nice. But anyhow, we were bringing our stuff in, and we were putting stuff away, and we ended up sitting around and talking, having a few drinks. And we had forgotten we left the door propped open, and these two girls come up, and they're like, hey, what are you guys doing? So we were like, not much, just having a few drinks.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, come on in. And they came in and sat down. We talked and had a few drinks. And, it ended up being a pretty long night. About 5 o'clock in the morning, we're sitting there, and the really good-looking one of the two ended up passing out. And, we didn't think anything of it. By then, the door was already shut. And then a few minutes later, there's a knock on the door. So I go to the door, open the door. There's this really big guy standing there in a nice suit. And I could tell he had a gun on. I thought he was hotel security or something. And I said, yes, sir, can we help you? He said, do you have two young ladies in your room? I was, yes, sir. He said, okay, I'm with them. I need to come in and see them. I said, okay. So he came inside, and he was kind of upset about what had happened to the other girl. She was passed out and everything. Come to find out, to make a long story short, this was Ivanka Trump.
It was Ivanka Trump?
The woman was Ivanka Trump?
Ivanka Trump.
No! She's what now, 16, 17?
Right. I think she was 15 at the time.
Well, I'll tell you what.
You are kidding.
15 years old, you're lucky you didn't fall headfirst into her wood chipper. Because
Exactly.
you would have had some problems.
So he
Very
was like
big
some
problem.
security guy.
So what happened?
Well, he was like, did y'all take any pictures or anything? We're like, no.
Yeah.
And so he got everything together and pretty much just
Dude,
zipped right on out the door.
Hold it. Now, but the question is, when she came into the room, you had to know she was 15. No?
No.
No, she looks
idea.
older. Have you ever seen her?
Ivanka?
Recently,
Yeah, she looks a
but
lot
no.
older than 15.
Oh, she had been in the casino gambling, so I don't know if it was money or
Trump.
And
what
they're
it
just,
was.
you know what? 15-year-olds are just roaming around the casino.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And they see an open door, a couple of young guys.
Let
and
me
they
ask
want,
you something. In the course of conversation, because they were with you guys till 5 in the morning, did anybody ever say, hey, what do you do?
Or what's your name? If a woman said my name is Ivanka, I mean, how many Ivankas are running
was that
around?
brought up?
They said that they were Stephanie and Michelle.
Oh,
and
they
they
lied.
They were from Memphis, which is not too far from there, and they were just coming down to have a good time.
Well,
From
did
Memphis?
they? Well, now wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did she look? I mean,
Ivanka Trump doesn't live in Memphis.
no, I know she was
She's lying.
obviously lying.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, if she said she was from Memphis, she would probably sound like she was from Memphis. I mean,
And why would Ivanka Trump be, of all places, in Mississippi?
in Tunica, Mississippi. Are you sure that was Ivanka Trump?
Absolutely positive, because the next day we seen the same guy was actually, I believe, their bodyguard and also their driver get into their, it was a Mercedes limousine, and it had a Trump 1 on the license plate.
Maybe you know what? Maybe they own a casino there.
Yes.
Could
They
be.
may.
That's a great
They may.
story.
That's a
a
good
wow.
story.
That's
a wow. That's a great story.
Hold on
All
there, wow.
Leon.
Thanks a lot.
All right, we're
Good
going
story,
to
Leon.
Karen.
Hello.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. Want my story?
Hi,
Yeah,
I'm
make
sorry.
us say wow.
I was going to school in New York City, and I was getting ready to go home for the summer, and I was putting some stuff into storage, and we've been to New York. They're all over on the industrial side, kind of 11th Avenue, where a lot of prostitutes are. So we were standing out there waiting for a cab, and all of a sudden this guy in this white, like, BMW or Mercedes or something whips it over onto the sidewalk and gets out and starts going after these two prostitutes. And the girl had been hanging in his car, and there was a lot of screaming, a lot of stuff, and all of a sudden the girl took off her stiletto, heel and hit the guy in the face, actually through his glasses, and ripped his eye out.
Oh, yeah.
And he was, like, standing, like, probably about 10 feet away from me. He turned around. He had no eye, blood all over him, and we took him inside and ended up calling the paramedics. And
where was his eye? Did it fall to, what was it, hanging because it's connected?
Well, I believe part of it was on her shoe. And he had glasses
like a
on.
grasshopper.
He had glasses on, and he went into, like, immediate shock. So
and he said, I'll keep an eye out for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what ever happened to him, but he certainly didn't have an eye.
Oh, that's great.
He was
That's a
taken
good story.
away.
That's a great story.
That is a good story.
That's a wow.
You're in a tough round here. That's a good story, though.
Thank you. Hang on,
All right.
Karen.
I am very pleased. Folks, let me just say, so far you people are delivering the goods. I am very impressed and proud of you. Donna.
Yes, I have a story.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. I was on my way to work, and that particular day I left my dogs outside. And when I got home, one of my dogs was missing. So I started looking around my neighborhood and asking. Nobody'd seen my dog. Well, finally, down the street, this lady in this house said that she had seen my dog get hit by a car, but a guy in a big gray truck had come by and picked my dog up and said it was his dog and took it home. So I looked everywhere for this gray truck, never found it, put up signs in my neighborhood and in the store down the street saying, if you found my dog, here's my phone number and give me a call. Well, 3 months go by. No one ever called me. I'd finally just given up and figured, I had no idea. So I'm going home one day, and I see this big gray truck parked at this store. And it was the same gray truck that the lady had told me had got my dog. So I pulled in and I was going to ask him about my dog. Well, at the same time I was pulling in, he pulls out. So I follow him home, and it's like way past my house, out in the country. So I pull in behind him, and he lives in this double-wide trailer. And I got out, and I told him who I was, and that my dog had gotten hit, and da-da-da-da-da. And he said, yeah, that he'd seen the signs, and that he had gotten my dog, and it had been hit, and by the time he got it, it had laid in this ant bed and been eaten up, and told me this awful story about how he tried to take care of my dog that night, and my dog was just so bad, that she had died. So I'm standing in his driveway crying, and I said, well, I appreciate you telling me. At least now I know, maybe I can just kind of get on with it. So I turned to leave, and he had a sliding glass door in the back of his trailer, and I saw something move, and I looked, and I looked through the curtain on the door, and my dog is standing there, and she's like scratching at the door trying to get out because she saw me. And the reason I know my dog, we had her ears cropped, and one ear stood straight up, and one kind of laid down, and it was my dog. So before I knew it, I had ran past him, beat him inside his own house. I picked her up, and I flipped her over because we'd had her fixed, and she had a scar on her tummy, and it was her. It was my dog. So I walked out with my dog, and he said, you can't leave. That's my wife's dog, and I'm not letting you go until my wife gets home from work. And I said, well, my vet's got records. This is my dog, and there's signs up all over the dang road. So if she wants to get in touch with me, she can get my phone number and give me a call.
So what, was he going to hold you there?
Did he hold you there?
No, he let me go.
You're brave.
That is very brave of
so
you.
After 3 months, I found my dog. I thought, but the thing was, he told me that awful story about how she had died. I'm sitting there just crying.
I love that you just ran in, grabbed the dog.
Yeah, it was kind of I don't know. I don't even remember it really. I just remember
Good for you.
That's an excellent story.
Good story.
Yeah.
Good story, Donna.
Hold on.
Let's take one more. That's a great story.
Hold on.
Good story, but is that a wow?
Probably not the winner, but it's a good story.
It's a great story.
Yeah, probably not the winner, but a good story. Donna? Is this another Donna?
This is Angie.
Angie.
Hi.
Hi, Ange.
This story's not depressing or anything. I don't really think it can beat the floating genitals, but I'll give it a try.
Nothing can beat the floating genitals. By the way, they'll be
the
playing.
The Chameleon Club next Saturday night.
Okay, go ahead.
This guy came into our school when I was 16, and he took our class hostage. He ran into the school and started shooting into the ceiling with a shotgun.
What city was this?
This was in Forsyth County.
ran in during school, started shooting at the ceiling.
Shooting at the ceiling, and we had a coach in our history class, and he ran out into the hallway and tried to tackle him and take the gun away from him, but failed, and the guy ran into our room, shut the door, pointed the gun at all of us, and told us to get in front of the door and barricade it. Well, after some time went by communicating through the speaker system in the school, they decided to let the girls go. Well, I decided I wanted to stay in there with him. So eventually, after I stayed in with all the other guys, I got to be the mediator and go between him and the police. And I was 16 years old, and they were sending me in and out of this room, this armed guy in there, and everyone was scared. We thought he was really serious. And it turns out then they called the parents and everything. My mom came up to the school. She wound up beating up the sheriff of Forsyth County because he was letting me...
Wait, your mom beat up the Forsyth County sheriff?
She smacked him around a few times for letting me go in and out the room.
Your mom beat up the sheriff?
Yeah.
And he just stood there and took it?
Well, of course he didn't stand there and take it. They had to calm her down, but she was very upset.
She was upset because you were the mediator.
Yeah, so I went outside and, made sure that they had the bus with, he wanted a bus with blacked out windows.
Well, someone's got to mediate. The guy's got a gun.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was very scary. And then I got to go in and out. And then it got to the point where this guy was, everything in the class kind of got real settled down, and he was laid back a little more. And for lunch, everybody started getting hungry, so he actually asked this kid what his name was and got on the speaker system and said, "We want lunch. I'm holding so-and-so hostage, and I've got my gun against his head. I'm going to blow his head off if we don't get lunch." And then...
What was his problem?
Yeah, what was his beef?
He had epileptic seizures, and the day before this, some of the guys in his shop class had flicked the lights on and off trying to induce a seizure on him.
I believe somebody else...
I remember this story.
Yes, somebody else who was in the classroom with you called us with this story.
The last time we made us say wow.
Yes, the last time we did make us say wow.
I wasn't here that
story?
day, yeah.
That was it. Yeah, I thought I'd heard the story before.
Yeah, well, we when everything was
how
over.
How cruel is that? Here's a guy with epilepsy, and hey, flick the lights on, off and on. Let's flick the lights off and on to see if we can induce a seizure.
Yeah.
God, that's psychos.
Well, we all wound up getting Whoppers and large fries and large Cokes. And then,
well, so it had a happy
How long
ending.
did it last?
I think it lasted for about 6 hours.
Scary.
Wow.
And then
right.
You won't get a wow only because this is a rerun.
Okay.
They've already wowed before.
The best of the Morning X. Thanks for listening. We hope there's no permanent damage. 99X.
Everyone knows that it's playoff time for football, but did you know football is a conspiracy to sell food? Mean Joe Green likes a certain brand of soda.
With a smile.
Troy Polamalu uses a certain kind of shampoo. That Justin Tucker is a trained opera singer. We can't guarantee that you'll learn all this by listening to the Jim Rowe Show podcast, but you will definitely be well informed on the latest takes on the playoffs, coach hirings, and the draft. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.